Guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we're going to be doing a kind of different video. So this is a video that I'm going to call This or That. I don't know if this is on YouTube or not, but I was just thinking it's pretty much like an Instagram poll, but instead of asking someone else, it's pretty much me deciding if I would choose this or that. So for this one, I'm going to be doing eyeshadow palettes. So I actually did post these on my Instagram stories a little bit ago. And so I already have these like created, so I thought I would just go through these. So I'm super excited to do this video. Let me know in the comments if you like this video, if there's anything else you want to see, like foundations, concealers, face palettes, blushes, anything like that. And I can definitely do that, but I thought we would start with eyeshadow palettes. So yeah, make sure to subscribe down below, give this video a thumbs up if you do enjoy it, and let's get on with the video. So for the first one, it's going to be the Jaclyn Hill first palette, the one that she originally came out with, and the Jaclyn Hill volume 2. So I will put a picture of these side by side. So I actually do have both of these palettes. So I have the original, which you can see I have used and abused this thing. So you have a good range of like neutrals, you have some warm shades, you have some reds, you have some pops of purples, blues, greens, just kind of like a mix of everything. And then the next one is like definitely more of like that sunrise palette, like very like yellow, pinks, and purples. I can open it. So that's what it looks like. Super pretty. I will say it kind of does like depend on what you like more. Between the two, I would probably purchase the original one. If I had to purchase these again and I could only choose between these two, I would probably get the original, just because I don't reach for this one as much as I thought I would. But this one you can use as an everyday palette. I literally used to use this every single day. I mean, obviously, we ran through it. But yeah, I would definitely pick this one out of the two, just because I feel like you could get colorful if you want to, and you could get a very wearable neutral one. I definitely would probably choose the first one. The next one is the Kristen Dominique's Transition palette. That is like a newer palette, and the Makeup by Mario, what's this one called? Master Matte eyeshadow palette. So some of these I may have, some of these I don't have. It's just kind of choosing which ones I would choose out of the two and why. So I'm actually really intrigued for the Transition palette by Kristen Dominique. I think it looks really pretty. You seem to have some cooler tones, some pinky tones, and like some really warm tones, and I really like that. Honestly, this is the I do have the Makeup by Mario palette, and this is what it looks like. It is a really pretty, just everyday neutral warm eyeshadow palette. If you don't have shades like this, it is a really great palette. They're both all matte palettes, so I don't know. I feel like out of the two, I would probably go with the Kristen one, even though I do really like the Makeup by Mario palette. And I do think the formula is good, and I use it quite often. I just feel like this one is really expensive, and the Kristen Dominique one is so similar. And I've heard really good things about her formula, that out of the two, I would probably go with the Kristen one. You do get more eyeshadows in it, so you kind of do get more of a bang for your buck. Again, I do like the Makeup by Mario one. I do think it's really good. It's just super pricey for what it is. So I would probably go with the Kristen Dominique one between those two. Okay, the next one, I actually don't have either of these palettes, but both of them have like really intrigued me. So these are the Huda Beauty palettes. There's the Naughty Nude, which is her newest one, I'm pretty sure. And then the Mercury Retrograde. Honestly, if I had to choose, I would choose both. But so the Naughty Nude one is definitely more of a neutral palette, hence the name. So if you like more like browns and warm tones, and you just like nude shades, then definitely go with that. They definitely still have that pinky hue to them. Like I feel like all of her shades, especially more of her neutral nude shades, they tend to all have like a pinky purpley tone to them, and I can tell that that one does. And then the Mercury Retrograde is for someone who seems to like, who likes neutral eyeshadows but also likes to add some color. If I had to go with one, I'd probably go with the Mercury Retrograde, because if I really wanted to find it, I probably have shades like the Naughty Nude one, because they are at the end of the day just like neutral shades. They do have like those weird shimmer shades and like that one like cream or like what's it called? Like that lip gloss shade. I think it's called Slippery in the palette, and it looks like really weird. But pretty much just like a clear base with a pink pigment to it. So I am not like that. I feel like I would never in a million years use that shade. But like the rest of the palettes, I probably have some kind of dupes for it. And the Mercury Retrograde, I feel like it would add something to my collections because it does have like a bright orange, it has blues, greens, purples, pinks, and it also has neutral shades. So out of the two, I would probably go with the Mercury Retrograde just because I feel like I don't have something like that in my collection. I mean, probably, but still. So the next one is by Lunar Beauty. So I do have one of these palettes. I just used it in my last video actually. These are the Lunar Beauty Strawberry Dream palette and the Eternal Eclipse. I always want to call it the Lunar Eclipse. So the Eternal Eclipse I have been wanting since it came out. I just haven't purchased it yet, but I think it's so pretty. If you watch me, you know that I love cooler tone eyeshadows. I reach for them a lot more than like super warm tones. I just feel like they complement my skin tone a little bit better to go more neutral cool tones. So yeah, I will definitely be picking up the Eternal Eclipse palette. But I also do have the Strawberry Dream palette, if I can open it. This is definitely more of that pinky. This is way more bold than the other one. I did break, in my last video if you've seen it, I broke the Blue Diamond shade in this one. So sadly, I am missing that shade. I just feel like Lunar Beauty has some of my favorite eyeshadows. I feel like they are such a good brand. They always excite me with what they launch. The packaging is always amazing on them. They're just like that really... Their packaging is like nothing else, honestly. It's definitely not basic by any means. If I had to choose out of the two, I would probably go with Eternal Eclipse because I just feel like I would use it more, even though I love this palette and I think it's super pretty and the formula on it is amazing. Again, Lunar Beauty has some of the best eyeshadows that I have personally tried. The mattes are always so creamy and blendable and easy to work with, and then the shimmers always have such a... They're just so wet and like metallic looking. Even though I love this palette and I think it's super pretty, I just don't reach for it as much as I should because on the regular basis, I'm not doing like a bold pink look or like blues. Love both of those, and honestly, if you haven't tried out their eyeshadow formula, you definitely should. Okay, so next thing is the Natasha Denona Bronze palette and the Glam palette. So these are pretty much sisters to each other. One is just really warm and then one is like a lot more cool toned. I do have the Glam palette. I don't have the bronze one. I've went back and forth about picking it up. I don't know if I will, but out of the two, I personally would definitely choose the Glam palette because I love cool toned eyeshadows, like I just said. So out of the two, the Glam palette definitely draws me in a lot more than the bronze one. But if you tend to reach for warm tones, obviously, you're probably gonna like the bronze one a lot more. But this is what the Natasha Denona Glam palette looks like. So super pretty. Again, if you love cool tones and neutral shades, you would love it. And I love this like bronze gold in this. I just feel like it looks really pretty with the cool tones. It's a nice like contrast. I use this palette actually quite often if I want to do like an everyday look or if I want to do like a really glam cool tone eye. So yeah, I love this palette and I reach for it a lot. And out of the two, I would definitely go with the Glam palette. And the next two are just like, I feel like classics, but I don't know, maybe not. So these are the Anastasia Soft Glam palette and the Modern Renaissance. So I did get these for a Christmas gift as they were in like some kind of vault, not last year, but the year before last, so 2 years ago. And I do really like them. So this is the Modern Renaissance. Kind of just more like that neutral, like pinky reds, warm shades. And then the Soft Glam has kind of a mixture of everything. Mine has really been beaten up, but that's what it looks like. But yeah, out of the two, I'd probably go with Soft Glam. I do like Modern Renaissance, but I just don't reach for it as much as I do Soft Glam. Okay, so the next one, I don't have either of these. So these are the Colourpop. They're bigger palettes. I think they're 34 pan or 32. So there's the Bare Necessity, which is more like that warm colorway. And then there's the Stone Cold Fox. So hands down, I would choose the Stone Cold Fox. Again, of course I go for cooler tones and neutrals, but there's just something about the Stone Cold Fox that like really draws me in. I do feel like you kind of still have like some like coppery shades in there, but you still have like your cool tones, and you have like the cool tone pinks, and you have like cool tone mauves. And there's just something about the Stone Cold Fox one that draws me in way more than the Bare Necessities. I would still pick both of these up, but if I had to choose between the one, Stone Cold Fox, most definitely. It's just, something about that is so pretty. And I really like the black, like kind of in the center of the palette, like at the bottom, then at the very end, like you know how blacks are normally like the last shade in the colors. I just feel like that black like really pops. But yeah, I would definitely choose Stone Cold Fox over Bare Necessities. So the next one is the Anastasia Norvina palette. So I do have the first one and I have the third one, I think. So here's the first one, which these are more like the purpley, like pinks, and you do get like pops of almost like primary colors, so like blue, red, yellow, orange. I do like this palette. And then the other one is the Norvina 4. I don't have the last one. Honestly, out of all of them, if I had to choose which one to pick up, I probably would have gotten the Norvina 4. So between the two, definitely Norvina Volume 4 I would probably choose. Even though I do like this, I feel like I would get more use out of that one. The only thing I don't like about it is that random pop of yellow. I just feel like Anastasia is like known for like putting in like random pops of colors that like no one's really asking for, and it just kind of like it's like that eyeshadow. It's like you're really never going to use it that much, and it's just kind of there. I just feel like out of all of the shades, that pop of yellow is just so random. Am I crazy? I just feel like you have like neutrals, pinks, purples, and some blues, and then you have a yellow. Girl, where did that neon yellow green come from? I do like them. I feel like they're really expensive for like no reason. Sorry. It does have like really like heavy packaging, and the eyeshadow pans are actually quite big, especially for Anastasia, because in their smaller palettes they do tend to like use like really small pans, so these are quite big. The formula in it is good. I just don't reach for it constantly. So yeah, out of the two, I probably would have went with Volume 4. Okay, and then we have another Natasha Denona one. So it's the Natasha Denona Biba palette and the Natasha Denona Metropolis palette. This one's really hard for me because I do have the Natasha Denona Biba palette, and I love this palette and I use it quite often. As you can see, I do use it a lot. This one does kind of have more warm tones, and then there's like a couple cool tones in it, but it does kind of lean more warm. So I do love this palette and I use it a lot. The Natasha Denona one is definitely more neutral, and then the Metropolis has some like blues and it has greens and golds. I think that palette would be so freaking pretty for fall. I know fall's already passed, but still, I just feel like it'd be such a pretty fall palette. I feel like out of the two, I would probably go with the Metropolis palette, just because even though I love the Natasha Denona Biba palette, kind of like I said with the Mario one or like the Kristen Dominique one, I probably have shades, I know I have shades like this that if I had to choose, I probably would go the Metropolis one, just because it has greens, it has golds, it has pops of blues, kind of has some like pinky shades, but it also has like your warm neutrals. So I probably would go with that one, but again, I do love this palette and I use it all the time, honestly, and it like hurts my soul to say that, but that one was like my hardest one because I love the Biba palette, but I also think the Metropolis one looks so pretty. Okay, so I kind of just like went through my collection and picked a couple more to do. So these I didn't put on Instagram or anything. These are just ones I just kind of came up with right now. So one I thought would be kind of fun to do is the KKW X Mario collection. So I do have both of them. I have the first one and then I have the Artist and Muse one, which is the second one. So this is what the Artist and Muse palette looks like. Again, I will have these up in the screen. So that is what the KKW one, or the second one, looks like. This one's a little bit more toned down, I guess, than the second one or the first one. And then we have the first one. So as you can see, honestly, they're not crazy different. This one you just kind of have like a pop of blue, and then you have like a purple, and you have some more like your like everyday like kind of normal mattes in it. I don't know how to describe it. Maybe this one actually leans a little bit more warm. Because this one you have like a yellow, you have like an burnt orange shade, like a warm matte, and then some like neutral browns. So I think out of the two, I would probably go with the second one. Only because the second one has, I like the shimmer shades in it a lot more, even though I do like the pop of blue in this palette. I like the variety of the shimmers a lot more. I feel like the shimmers in this one are kind of like your basic ones, which I get why, because it's kind of like the KKW look. So you have like a gold, like a champagne gold, you have like a bronze, a shimmery purple, a shimmery cobalt blue, which I feel like that is like the shade in this palette that like makes the whole palette kind of stand out and makes it a little bit different. But I do feel like out of the two, I'd probably go with this one because you kind of have like a navy shimmer, you have a gold, you have like a red shimmer, and then you also still have like your basic ones, like your like champagne shimmer and like kind of more of a bronze like satin shade. So yeah, we're gonna do the Jaclyn Anastasia palette and the Carly Bible Anastasia palette. So these were both collabs, obviously, between Carly and Jackie. I love both of these palettes. I've mentioned them many times on my channel. I use them all the time. I don't really use them on my channel now because I think you can still get them on their website, but I don't know if you can get them at like Sephora or anything anymore. Both of mine are super beat up because I did have like a shadow break in both of them. So I'm going to show you them separately. So I have the Jaclyn palette. Again, I will put a picture up. This one has some like purples, pinks, some really warm shades, a shimmery green. It's just got a little bit of everything in this palette, and it is made for that deeper skin tone. That is why she made it. So the colors in it are very rich and deep, which I do like. And then we also have the Carly Bible one, which this one is very kind of almost like pastel-y. You have like a mauve, you have like some like blues, you have some cranberry pinks, which those are like my favorite shades in the whole palette, is these two cranberry shades, the matte one and the shimmery cranberry. But yeah, I use both of these palettes all the time. Honestly, I use them off camera probably almost every time I do my makeup. Like I reach for a shade out of both of these. If I had to choose between the two, I probably would go with the Jaclyn palette, because even though I love the Carly Bible palette, I just feel like in the Jaclyn palette, it's for everyone. Any skin tone can use that palette. The Carly Bible one is pretty light, so I just don't know how well it would work on deep skin tone. So yeah, and I do kind of like the shimmers in the Jaclyn palette more. The main shimmer that I love is Aurora and My Angels, which My Angels did break in mine. Those were very full and metallic, and I just feel like the other ones can be a little lackluster sometimes. I hate to say that, but yeah, if you have this palette, you probably know like these two shades, like those two like metallic shimmer shades, are a little bit better than the rest of the shimmers in the palette. And I feel like in the Jaclyn palette, all of the shimmers in this palette are so pretty. So yeah, I would probably go with the Jaclyn palette, even though I still love both of these. And if you've been thinking about it and you still can, I would pick both of them up. But yeah, so yeah, I hope you guys like this type of video. It is a little bit different. I was just doing Instagram polls the other day, and I was just thinking, I feel like it would be fun to do a YouTube video where you're pretty much doing an Instagram poll, but for yourself, and you're just kind of talking about why you would pick something up, why you wouldn't, why you would choose this over that. So yeah, let me know if you like this video. If there's anything else you want to see, I can do another thing of eyeshadow palettes. There's so many eyeshadow palettes out in the world. We sure can find more than this, so I can definitely do another one of eyeshadow palettes. I could do foundations, I could do concealers, I can do powders, really anything. And I don't have to own these products myself. I can just kind of look if I own it, if I don't, and if I would choose one over the other. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you would choose out of these. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!